Good morning, everybody, and happy Earth Day. My name is Rocky Zapata. I'm very happy to be here celebrating Earth Day. We have a very special broadcast planned. I have my friend here, Patrick Noter, connected by our humanity and Burners Without Borders, who does some amazing work. And we've been connected recently, and he shared some amazing stories with me about the people that he works with in other countries to directly source coffee from the farmers and to learn about their history. And his excitement really poured over to mine, and I'm just really excited to be able to offer this broadcast today for Earth Day. And so what we're going to be doing is bringing on people from around the world, farmers, coffee farmers, to share about their history, the resilience. I don't want to tell you everything. First, I want to introduce Patrick. Patrick, welcome today. Thank you for
Thank you,
being
Rocky. Yeah, so thank you, Rocky. So yeah, we're excited to be here, and Connected by Our Humanity is a nonprofit that was sort of started with a civic ignition grant from Burners Without Borders. So in partnership with Connected by Our Humanity, Auburn Hip Hop Congress, and Burners Without Borders, what we're doing is we're going to introduce you to coffee farmers from around the world, like Rocky said. Currently, Connected by Our Humanity is working with 3 coffee farmers or communities in Costa Rica, Uganda, and El Salvador. And today we're excited to have and introduce you to with 2 of those communities. One is the Labano Project from the Baduda community of Uganda. And the second one is a family farm in El Salvador that's on the border of Honduras and El Salvador. We're going to be introducing, and you're going to be talking directly with those folks about their coffee farms in an Earth Day theme that where we're going to talk to them and get engaged with them on the challenges that they may be facing, both natural and economic. So we're really excited to kind of introduce you, and feel free to ask questions. If you have anything that prompts up, put a question in the comments section. Rocky will be monitoring that, and we're excited to get you guys introduced and engaged and share with you some really interesting stories of coffee and those communities behind that coffee from around the world. Rocky, you're on mute. Oh yeah, okay.
All right. Really excited for today. Really appreciate you coming on and putting this together so short notice. To be able to offer this to the community on Earth Day was just really special, because we here in Auburn, we get to host a youth community festival every year for Earth Day, and it's called the Some Kind of Earth Day Festival. Just kind of grassroots, bringing people together to introduce ideas of environmental awareness and ways that we can support the Earth, but also ways that we can connect with each other socially and understand, just what we can do to help, little things that we can do to help, big things we can do to help. So I'm excited to hear about that today and to continue the spirit of that. And I'm going to jump off because I am doing the tech, but Patrick's going to be leading the interviews, and he can introduce you to our guests now. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Oh, and if everybody can leave a comment in the comment section, let us know that you're joining, and hit that share button one time, because this is going to be a beautiful conversation and a rare opportunity. All right, y'all.
Hey, thank you. So what I'm going to do is, first we're going to I'll be introducing you to Jared, Eric, and Isaac on the Labano Uganda Coffee Project, followed by Doris and possibly David from the El Salvador farm. But I think what we're going to lead in first is with the Labano Project in Uganda, the Baduda community in Uganda, which is in the Mount. We'll let those folks elaborate more on this, but it's in the Mount Elgon region of Uganda, which borders Kenya. So what we're going to start with is we're going to lead off on a very nice 6-minute video that Eric and Isaac have put together on their Labano project, which talks about you'll get introduced to this community and the coffee growing region of the Baduda community in Uganda. So Rocky, if you could kind of go ahead and stream that video, that'd be great.
Hello, my name is Isaac Mutali Mundesi, and this is my partner Eric Samakula.
We are here in Baduda community. As you can see, it's a very mountainous area. It's on the slopes of Mountain Elgon on the eastern side of Uganda. It is blessed with very fertile volcanic soils, and the biggest cash crop here they have is the Arabica coffee. Arabica coffee is one of the best coffee in the world, and it can be a very good cash crop for them. Unfortunately, in the community, we have realized that they are not able to grow the coffee very well. The community is very poverty stricken, as you can see. They have many challenges when it comes to drawing water because the water sources are from down. You can imagine the distance they trek from down to come up, and farming is really difficult for them on these slopes. What we intend to do is to start up a demonstration farm here for coffee with my colleague here, Isaac. And in this demonstration farm, we want to show the people the best practices of growing coffee. Our hope and desire is that through this, we shall be able to empower the community to be able to get the best out of their cash crop, Arabica coffee. And this way they'll be able to build the schools, they'll be able to put up the health centers they need, and they'll be able to improve the roads. The roads are very poor. They cannot carry down their produce to the marketing places. We intend that if we put up this demonstration farm, not only will we employ the locals as a way of empowering them, but we will replicate that around them. We shall take up sensitization classes of how to use coffee to enrich themselves.
Kusinzira ku nsonga eyeeyo imwanyi nga wakikolere commercial mu community bayeta embeera abantu bemukisinja bayeta baaffecting embeera
abantu bemukisinja lwekuba buli muntu alina ebyambasa ebyeru anyumawo kubeera cooperative societies fertilizer
pruning scissors so
bingi naye ali ku saawa ene pawo likumuyeta society nakyo kyako union nayo era olira busa naye nga mpawo kyezikufunamu ate mpawo kyezikubenefit
ali babantu bano basuuti bonibo bafunamu ate kadamba mati akibona ali mangugo waloma ali eyimbi nali unampera kubeyi niyakukaliraho akukalira ali nakuwasiringa atabonako nga wasinga bulayi ali nkuminya ali ngakunyala nazi.
Setting up a demonstration farm will enable the farmers to learn the best practices of coffee growing, which will highly improve in the yields they get. The farmers who have attempted to grow this cash crop have also not gained much from the coffee proceeds because they are heavily exploited by the coffee buyers who buy each kilogram from at $0.25. By buying pulping machines and installing them in the different sub-regions, farmers will be empowered to process their coffee and sell each kilogram at $1.4. Therefore, asking you to support this cause by purchasing 7 pulping machines for the 7 sub-regions, each costing approximately $550, and support the setup of a demonstration farm worth $14,000. We'll count on you to support us in it.
So thank you, Rocky, for kind of sharing that video, and thank you for Eric and Isaac for putting that video on. What I want to share with you also with their audience, and feel free to ask questions if there's this video or this information has prompted any questions, feel free to ask it. What we're also doing, like what we mentioned, Connected by Our Humanity, is also we are going, the other part of the helping the coffee farmer, we're actually doing local community roasting that we expect to be doing at a larger scale once COVID restrictions are lifted. So we're excited to maybe involve the community in engaging with what's called a direct coffee trade. So we're going to work behind the scenes to establish a supply chain where we can source the coffee that we roast locally as a community that comes from these regions, like in particular the Bududa community of Uganda. So what right now I'm going to like to bring Eric, Jared, and Isaac on. I've got a few questions to ask them related to Earth Day. And again, if you have your own questions, please put them in the comments. Feel free to jump in. We'd love to have your questions and your engagement as well. So Eric, Isaac, and Jared, thank you. Thank you again for joining. We're excited to have you here today. And I'm just going to lead off with a few questions that I'd like to talk to. Kind of got this Earth Day theme that I'd like to kind of just engage with you guys and have a little dialogue about your community and how it's related. So one question I have is, where on our Earth is the Bududa Uganda coffee farming community located?
Thank you, Patrick. Let me answer that. Bududa community is found on the slopes of Mountain Elgon on the side of Uganda. Mountain Elgon is on the border of both Kenya and Uganda in East Africa. So the Bududa community is on these slopes. It's located around 2,000 meters above sea level. Yes, please. I don't know if you can add to that.
Okay, thank you. What was that elevation again, Eric?
We're talking about 2,000 meters of above sea level. Yeah, and that is where we grow the coffee. Yeah.
Okay, and just for our audience benefit, elevation, how high in elevation the coffee is grown has a lot to do with the quality of the coffee that's produced. So that's why I'm asking people to share what elevation their coffee is grown at, and the type of coffee you grow also is the Arabica variety, correct?
Correct. Correct. We grow the Arabica coffee. That is what is mainly grown, and it flourishes a lot in the high altitudes. That's why it's in about 2,000 meters above sea level. That is the ideal place to grow Arabica coffee. It has a number of types in it. The best type being Nyasaland. They call it Nyasaland coffee. And yeah, you can find it in Ethiopia, in Kenya, and in Uganda. Yeah, and so far, based on the rankings, it seems to be the best coffee around the world.
Thank you. Okay. And why don't you share with us the Bududa Uganda community and how the Bududa coffee farming community is connected to the earth? How long have they been around? And just if you can elaborate on that point.
Isaac, please go ahead on that.
Sure, I could just add on a few on the note of the nature of Bududa community and the elevation. It's in the ranges of Mount Elgon,
and there are quite a number with different kinds of heights, though they bear the elevation of that favors the growth of Arabica coffee, which runs between 1,600 and up to 4,000 actually. So it gives it a yield that is unbeatable, which explains what Eric was trying to say, that the coffee from there is really good, and that's why it's looked at. Then about the origin of the Bududa people, I can't really track back how long they've lived there after the eruption and everything, but per se, they have been living on this. They've been living on the income from the coffee as it's as their main source of income. So it explains the nature of the ground, the fertility, and the domination of coffee in that area. So I feel like it goes as way back as coffee was discovered in that region of Bududa district. Maybe that's some kind of information we could
No, thank you.
collect
Yes,
as
thank you.
go on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
But yeah, sure.
Thank you. And I think that the video kind of covered somewhat a bit of this as well. Could you elaborate, either of you, elaborate on the challenges that the Bududa community has faced recently in the last few years, both natural, and you heard a little bit in the video the economic challenges the coffee farmer is facing today. So could you just share with us a little bit of that in that area, the natural and economic challenges that confront the Bududa farming community?
Okay,
Yes,
I could share the natural, and then Eric shares the economical. Then maybe if we miss one here, one there, we shall sink in.
Sure.
The natural calamities that have been faced in Budu, the main one is the landslides, but that is not the whole entire region of Bududa. As I explained, there are several ranges around Mount Elgon, and there are those that are really close and steep, and the nature of the soil is more like gravel and clay soil. So when they settle on that, it tends to cut automatically. So that's one of them. And then there is poor road connection due to these steep nature of the land. So there is poor accessibility of facilities like hospitals. They have actually only one general government hospital, which is on the plain. It's not in the ranges. It's actually down in the plains, and it's where all these people get their medication from and everything. Then maybe another point would be the education bit of it. They have schools where kids move meters up the hill, and the poor road network, and mixed with the weather conditions of the heavy rains, mudslides. So it's really hard for them to maneuver around. Now, when we tackle into the coffee bit of it, the challenges they are facing that are natural is we've been overgrowing this coffee through the Bugisu Cooperative Union, and the Bugisu Cooperative Union back then was supporting them with pesticides and tools to help them with the better yield and everything, but they kind of stepped out due to some political issues, and they're having quite poor yields now because of that. Hence our involvement in the project.
Yeah, thank you, Isaac. I think one other point I would love to highlight with the nature of the place and the challenges it poses is that when you are cultivating on slopes that at that high angle of inclination, I don't know if you watched the video, it's quite tedious, and it's not a place where you can mechanize the farming, because no tractor will be able to go above the up the slope.
Right.
So it is not
Right.
possible to mechanize, and much of it has to be done manually. Now, when we talk about the water sources, by nature, the water will settle down in the slopes, down the slopes. So you find that the community has a big challenge with water sourcing, picking it from the slopes to take it up in the mountains. And these are some of the challenges that the community is facing. But despite all these challenges, they call it home. This is their home. This is what they know.
Right.
This is where they have home. This is their community. And so we are stepping in to see how do we help the community. Thank you. Sorry, Patrick, you seem to be muted.
Thank you. Sorry. Before I go to the next question or item, I want to recognize Jared Katz, who has worked for several NGOs in the Africa region, who put me in contact with the both of you and is a partner of this program. And Jared, do you have anything you want to kind of add to this discussion? I know you've been a very valuable partner in this engagement.
Right. So yeah, I lived in East Africa for 12 years or so, and in Uganda, and came back to California and met Patrick and learned about his coffee projects and connected them with Eric and Isaac. And I mean, I guess an additional challenge is something they touched upon in the video about the prices being fixed by the larger businesses and to a certain extent governmental organizations. So connecting them with Patrick is a possible solution to these challenges that they're facing.
Thank you.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think what we've been able to do with one partner in Costa Rica is we've established what's called a direct trade relationship, where the coffee that we are sourcing, and we have a small sale thing going on with the Costa Rican thing we want to replicate with these other coffee farmers. We are looking for that direct relationship, that direct trade, if we can, with these regions. And we have a number of items where we believe we can help fund and help financially support, as well as socially, these kind of programs. Which, and Jared, thank you for that very important point. Which leads to the next, I think, final question that we had for me is, Eric, Jared, and Isaac, what are the goals and the objective of the Labano project? And actually explain what Labano means from the word Labano.
Thank you, Patrick. I think I will go first. Lambano is a Greek word which means to capture or take back. And what we are doing with this Lambano project is to just ensure that we empower the community enough to bring back what belongs to them. I think what Gerard wanted to explain, I can expound much more on that. What is happening is that the farmers that have tried to grow the coffee, this Arabica coffee that is so rich, have faced a number of challenges with the prices. Earlier on, when they had the Bugishu Cooperative Union still supporting them, they had the machinery. They would process the coffee and therefore be able to sell processed coffee and earn a bit more from it. what that has happened, a group of people who are really well established and have a high political affiliation have been able to take away these privileges, and they are exploiting them in the way they are buying the price of the coffee. They are buying berries, red berries, and the farmer is really earning very little from it. So those that are highly engaged in the coffee are not really earning the best out of it. So what we intend to do with this project is to empower the community again, such that they can take back that which belongs to them, take back the profit they were used to get. We intend to bring in processing slowly by slowly. We have already started with the pulping machine, introducing pulping machine, such that instead of selling red berries at a very little price, they can be able to sell a processed bean and get much more out of that. So it's really targeting the empowering of the community, working with them and trying to establish a better price for their coffee such that they can get the best benefit out of their coffee growing they're doing. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think what Connected by Our Humanity would like to, our objective is some ways, and as well as Burners Without Borders, is to kind of establish something where every cup of coffee you might have in the morning could or would be helping a project like the Lamano project, a project like in Costa Rica, we have a Costa Rican coffee relief farm, and we could be doing something with El Salvador. But the whole idea is connect this community with your community. That daily cup of coffee could actually be contributing to something meaningful. So we're excited about the Lamano project. Thank you for kind of sharing that. And just wanted to Rocky, is there any other questions from the audience that we wanted to maybe engage, or should we go? Just want you to do a checkpoint here with you, Rocky, at this point.
All right, there we go. Just trying to get back on. So looking at the comments, people are just enjoying it, saying happy
Thank you.
birthday,
Okay.
Danielle. This is such an awesome broadcast. We've had about 10 people watching the whole time, and then people tune in and tune out. But we'll be able this is an opportunity now to ask people, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask them directly, or that you would like to, learn about where they're from, or anything for Earth Day? This is an open platform, and we're just excited to help create this connection between our communities. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, I'll see them, and then I'll be able to pull them up for Patrick in the group.
Yeah, and thank you for your kind comment, Danielle. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, and I do have some pictures too, if we want to kind of talk about these pictures. And see.
Go ahead and slide through those, and then yeah. So this is the roast that we did last night. So we roasted coffee from an area close to the Baduda community. Eric, do you know exactly from that how close that is to the Baduda community geographically? It's the Baguzi region. Is it the greater region that the Baduda region is in?
I would say it could be about 5 to 10 kilometers away from the Bududa community.
So we're close. Okay. So geographically, we're close. Good. We want to get the coffee directly from the Baduda community. But we for now we have something close. So that's that. Thank you. Our goal is to make available coffee that we roast within the community from the Baduda community, but at least we're close here, and that's and this is Eric, this is you, and is this the site of your demonstration farm?
Yes, we have gotten about 4 sites in the different areas where we wish to put the demonstration farms.
So here we were on the slopes looking at the different places where we will be establishing these demonstration farms. What we realized that the farmers there don't have the required to be trained in order to get the best yield from this cash crop. And we intend to kind of show them some of the better practices, majorly concentrating on the soil erosion that they face because of the slopes. How do you farm to make sure this is catered for? So yes, this is one of the places where we intend to put the demonstration farms, and these demonstration farms are mainly not only to employ the farmers, but to sensitize them on how best to get the best yield from the crop.
And in a sustainable way, correct?
Exactly, very
Yes.
sustainable. Yes.
Okay. And in this way, you're somewhat, you're protecting the earth and stewarding the earth, with your being able to teach the farmers a sustainable way to farm their coffee, correct?
Exactly. Maybe just to add on to that, we are trying to. It's going to be a long-term project, and even things, the details to even the manure we are using, we plan to be doing organic manure rather than the inorganic they are using. Currently, they are using NPK, but on the demonstration farm, we shall make sure we teach them how to use the best manure, how to mix it up, and that is what we shall be putting on the demonstration farms. The soil erosion that has been destroying this part of the community, we will show them the best practices. Many of them know, but most of them are yet to get there. There is always improvement, and this is what the demonstration farm is set to do.
Thank you. So I think
Yeah,
as we're
maybe
going to kind of conclude here, at least for this particular session, and we're going to move on to our partners in the El Salvador farm. But any closing remarks, Isaac or Jared or Eric, before we conclude? Again, this is just the start. This is an introduction. We really hope to expand audience and do these things on a regular basis.
Sure.
So any kind of concluding remarks or anything that you want to add before we move on to our next farmer?
Sure. I just wanted to add on a little more on what Eric was sharing about the demonstration farm. We're building a module like he says, and in this kind of module, we are looking at training farmers and training them how to administer the plant from the beginning, when to put the first batch of manure and then the next batch of manure, what kind of manure, and we're looking at also the organic manure, deeper more into the organic manure. We want to do compost manure, basically things used as waste in the kitchen, make a pit, process it, and then allow it to dry, then mix it with animal waste, dry animal waste. And we intend to teach them all these things step by step. Maybe just to make it clear, we want to have organic coffee at the end of it, because when they're testing coffee, if I understand right, there is a point where there is a point where it has to be organic, or it is half organic, half, mixed with non-organic manure. You can tell, in other words. Yes, so we are trying to achieve that in a long term. It's not a short-term project. We are going to reach out for now with the organic manure that will be provided with. Actually, a couple of farmers have already organized themselves with plants, and they are expecting manure from us. So we are looking forward to meeting that end as well as we establish the demonstration farm. In a way, we are doing it so we gain trust between us and the people on the ground, so that we create rapport. Yes, maybe that's what I would add on
Thank
the
you.
demonstration farm. And maybe one more thing, one of our partners just ran late, but he's here now to join us. He's going to be with me. Maybe I'll just introduce him. He's Jesse Ponciano. We work with him. It's going to be our first time for you to meet him.
Hello, Jesse.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yeah, sure.
Glad to be online. Yes. I'm sorry that we are about. Okay, now I can see myself clear.
Perfect.
Yes.
Welcome, Jesse.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jesse. Yes, I'm very pleased to be. I'm a member of Lambano. Yes. So I would let everyone carry on.
Yes, maybe just because he's our technical man in the module of the demonstration farm, he could share a little bit more on that point, and he came in handy in the right time when we were about to close. So he's been building the module.
Yes.
They just want to know about how we are going to administer it. What's the module for now, and how to right?
Yeah. Yes. What's the module? Well, the module is supposed to be able to train farmers, to bring them into the demonstration farm, train them, and then we go along the way with them from begin planting. They go on to the flowering of the plants, to the application of the pesticide, the fertilizers, to the level where they actually now begin to pulp the coffee. Yes, and then up to the selling part, when they actually now have received the yield, and then it's taken onto the market. So the module actually gives us that process in detail. But if you could allow me, I could talk about the very first, because coffee takes 7 years, we are able for the first 2 years to help them with planting, give them the right seedlings. So we shall have a nursery bed where we have these seedlings, we prepare them, then we train them how to plant, how to space the planting, in general, to actually prepare their garden and have everything. Those 2 years is enough for them actually to have the coffee germinate and all that, and until it begins to flower. Now that takes 2 years. Now the third and the fourth year, then there they begin, the plant begins flowering. There it will need pest control and manure application. So we are able also to help them in that period of the third to the fourth year. When it reaches the fifth year to the sixth year, there they plan to do the harvesting. So we help them in the harvesting. And yes, after that, we collect the yield, and then we are able to help them also get a better price for their coffee, because what has been happening, they've not had all that help and training from the first year to the sixth and seventh year. In so doing, their yield comes out, it comes out of low quality, and they are forced to sell it at a low price. But if we are with them all through the process and give them that help, it means that at the end of training them, they will be able to provide coffee of a good yield, of good quality, and we will have maintained and assured that what we needed them to do to produce the quality coffee they have actually done, and now they can receive actually enough benefit out of that so that they can be empowered, unlike before. Because what has been happening on the ground is that they haven't been able to get a good price for their coffee. Because why? No one followed them up, no one gave them help, no one assisted them. So we as Lambano, we are looking, that's actually one of our objectives, to see that we go along with them all the way. I think I've answered satisfactorily.
Amazing.
Yes.
Maybe just to add on what he's saying, we intend to do all of these things at the demonstration farm. Like the pesticide, we intend to get it from rabbit pea. So we intend to keep rabbits and then collect their pea waste, which is very good for organic pesticide. Instead of using the normal processed artificial pesticide, same as the manure, we intend to go organic.
Organic.
Totally, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Jesse, Isaac, Eric, and Jared, the theme, and we have very similar with what we've been doing with the Costa Rica coffee farmer relief. Very similar theme, that the coffee farmer is challenged by the economic factors, the worldwide economic model for coffee. Coffee farmers are all around the world are really challenged by our economic model. How the supply chain, how the coffee gets from your farm to our cup of coffee. And I think what we're looking to do as part of this engagement directly with the coffee farmer is to do a number of things. One, to raise the awareness of the challenges that the coffee farmer is facing all over the world. Support and amplify efforts like the Labano Project, like the Costa Rican Coffee Farmer Relief Project, like what we hope to establish with our next guest, is some kind of awareness and amplification and support, and then have that potentially set up a direct trade supply chain relationship where the community can be part of that actual supply chain. So we're really excited about the work you guys are doing. Our goal is to amplify, make that more people more aware, and engage our local community with your community through coffee. And then how do we support the farmers? And this is we're really excited about the work you're doing. We want to do more events like this, so we can make your, like I said, amplify and give you a wider audience, and then engage, right? Engage either in purchasing your coffee, supporting your coffee, helping you with your pulping machines, helping you with your gardens. In the meantime, we become more educated and more aware of what is in your particular instance, what's happening in your community in Uganda. So I want to thank you all. And if you have any other closing comments, I do want to give our other guests an opportunity to share what they have going on with their farm in El Salvador. And I also want to make a note of what I mentioned a couple times. We have another project that unfortunately Mateus Zeladon couldn't join us today, but we do have another project going on that's our most established project so far in Costa Rica, the Costa Rican Coffee Farmer Relief. But the theme is the same. He's trying to help his neighbors, and it's all around fertilizer, by the way, help his neighbors afford to produce coffee.
Amazing.
And I think there's a general theme that everyone's got their unique situation, but there is a general theme about the challenges the coffee farmer is facing, particularly today, to receive a fair economic return for the coffee they produce. And I think this is what we're happy to engage you guys on this and then hopefully expand our audience and build this program. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Patrick. We really
Thank you so
appreciate the effort. We thank you for this platform to put this out there. And yeah, we're looking forward to more engagements with you. Thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
to Auburn Hip Hop Congress for hosting this. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Rocky. Okay. So Rocky, can we want to maybe bring on again, thank you again for the Labano project. We're excited to engage with you. We're looking forward to having more of these sessions with you. Right now we want to maybe move on to the next guest. Okay.
Sure.
Doris,
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Isaac.
I meant to say thank you for engaging this. You and Jared were like the genesis. I remember the whole email stream. Amazing. Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. We're looking forward to chatting with you guys soon about how we can go forward with this. Okay.
Right.
Cheers. Okay. So our next guest is a coffee farm, a family-owned coffee farm in El Salvador, on the border of Honduras and El Salvador. And I'd like to engage, I think, Doris and maybe David on to talk about their coffee farm and some of the things that we've got going on with their farm. So right now I want to introduce Doris Romero Bacala. She's local here to Auburn. I've known her for a number of years now. And Doris, just as part of the introduction, tell us about your farm, your family farm. It's your grandfather's farm, I believe, in El Salvador.
Hi, Patrick. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching. We actually have David on the line. He can hear you and he can talk to you. David, si te quieres introducir.
Sí. Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es David. Tengo 28 años. Soy un pequeño caficultor de El Salvador y también soy apicultor. Buenos días.
He said, good morning, everyone. My name is David. I'm 29 years old and I'm a coffee farmer in El Salvador.
Thank you. Yeah, for our audience, Doris is going to serve as part of our interviewing and our translator for David. So if you bear with us when we have questions and answers, there's going to be a translation in between those. So thank you for Doris. Thanks again for participating and acting as our translator. So, okay. Okay. Did you want to add, David or Doris? Did you want to add anything else before I kind of go into some just brief questions here about your farm?
No, I think you covered the introduction.
Okay. Same kind of question. Where on our earth is your coffee farm located? What region in El Salvador is your farm located? And just give us a general idea, again, your connection to the land, the geography of your family coffee farm.
Okay. David, explícanos en qué parte de El Salvador está localizada tu finca y dinos de la altura, explícanos un poquito más de tu finca.
Está localizada en Perquín, Morazán, El Salvador. Y la altura es 1,640 metros sobre el nivel del mar.
Okay. He says it's located in the county of Morazán. The town is called Perquín, and it is 1,640 feet above sea level.
Thank you. Thank you. Doris and David, what are, again, so similar questions, what are the kind of challenges that faces your family farm, both from a natural standpoint and a economic standpoint, as far as farming in El Salvador?
David, explícanos cuáles son algunos de los obstáculos que tu comunidad tiene ahorita.
El principal obstáculo es la venta del café, porque aquí producimos café y no lo podemos vender bien y casi es la única fuente de ingresos que hay en la zona.
He says right now the major problem that he and his neighbors are encountering is finding where to sell the coffee and who to sell it to.
Okay. You know, on that theme, are they limited on who can sell their they can sell their coffee to? In other words, is there a bit of a monopoly, so to speak, from the buyer's stamp, who buys the coffee, from a seller-buyer relationship?
David, ¿tú piensas que están limitados a las personas que le pueden vender el café? ¿Por eso se sienten limitados?
Una, que está lejos donde se vende, porque hay que ir en carro 2 horas y pagar pasaje es un costo extra.
He says there's just no access, the road. And if you do have a car, it'd be at least a 2-hour drive to where you can sell the coffee for a profit.
Okay. So thank you. And how long has your family had your farm your farm?
David, cuéntanos, ¿cuánto tiempo tienen la finca en tu familia?
Primero empezó mi abuelo a sembrar café,
Okay.
como 30 años, pero era bien poquito. Entonces, en el 2012 se terminó con la roya y volvimos a sembrar en 2014.
He says the farm has been in his family for over 30 years. It started with his grandfather originally planting coffee and then just passing it from generation to generation.
Okay. And can you share a little bit about the local community? Are there other coffee farmers in the area? Is this a coffee farming community?
Cuéntanos más de tu comunidad. ¿Hay más gente que planta café o explícanos un poquito más de aquí en El Salvador?
Bueno, mi comunidad es pequeña. Y toda la gente que hay tiene su poquito de café, no siembran más porque dicen que no se vende. Entonces la gente a veces opta por irse para Estados Unidos porque dicen que no da el café. Y también vivimos en una zona alta,
Okay.
que hace bastante frío.
Okay.
Tenemos bosques. La naturaleza es muy bonita.
He says we're surrounded by nature. We live up in the mountains. It gets cold sometimes. My community, everyone plants coffee, but they only grow enough for their family because they've learned over the years that if they do try to sell it, it's not profitable and therefore they end up losing money. And unfortunately, the community is small and very lit economically. So a lot of people seek to immigrate to different countries and sometimes the United States.
All right. Yeah, and thank you for sharing that point, David and Doris. Just for the audience benefit, Connected by Humanity, we have just been introduced to Doris and David in their farm within like less than a week. So we are looking to engage and work on some kind of a solution, which we don't know yet, right? Where we can help this community in some ways and help the farmer, so that there's how would you say, in our own small way, we address maybe this immigration issue that's happening on our borders, right? And our thinking is, in this specific case, if we were to establish funding or coffee sales or something could generate funding, the funding would go directly to the farmer, knowing that the farmer's not going to leave his land, and hopefully that farmer can build some economic growth that would keep people in his region, and in our own small way maybe have a way of addressing this immigration issue that's happening on our borders. So again, this is just like I said, this is really new for us, but we're excited about the potential opportunity that we can. There's a lot of unknown questions as far as how we can establish that direct trade relationship, but we're going to be looking at that, and we'd like to have our audience engagement on how we look to maybe address this particular issue through around coffee. Hey, what I also would like to do is something that Doris and David shared with me earlier. Rocky, if you can show some of the pictures that David and David and Doris had provided earlier, and go to the coffee blooming. And I want to maybe have Doris, you and David talk to us about the special time when the coffee is in this blooming stage. One more, if you have. It's probably one off to the right, but talk about what is happening right now with the crop and how the relationship with the people and that crop. Doris, you shared with us earlier. If you and David could elaborate on that, please.
Sí, David, quiere él que le expliques un poquito cuando nos dijiste que cuando empieza la flor del café es una época muy especial para nosotros los salvadoreños. Si puedes explicar un poquito más a qué te referías y yo también le agrego un poco.
Está bien, es muy especial porque uno va a ver el fruto que va a cosechar la siguiente temporada. Y porque todo el café se llena de blanco, porque las flores son blancas. Entonces, por eso uno se siente muy feliz en ver eso.
He says it's a special time because the trees, the coffee plant is covered in white flowers, and it's a time for him to reflect in the future blooming and the future of his coffee plantation. And he says it's a very special time for him and his family. And as a person born in El Salvador as well, I can say that it's special because we're surrounded by Mother Nature. And today we take the day to celebrate the many things that Mother Earth does for us. And this is an excellent example. Like drinking coffee, we drink coffee every day, but we don't take the time to think of how the process of how that little seed turned into the plant and then eventually came into our coffee cup. It's truly special.
Thank you, Doris and David. And along that same vein, and on the community coffee roasting connected by our humanity and Burners Without Borders in the Sacramento region are really kind of promoting. Again, I had coffee this morning from El Salvador, from another coffee farm in El Salvador. What we can do, similar to what we've done with the Labano project, if in the interim where we can't exactly source coffee from this farm, we'll try to source something as close as we can to that farm. And we have a modest program going on today where coffee sales have gone back to that farm. So this is something that we'll explore doing, and we look forward to possibly doing that kind of an engagement, and possibly helping this farm. Possibly the objective would be to source that coffee and have that coffee every morning and help that farmer with a direct trade relationship. In the interim, we still can source coffee from other different places of the world and still have some form of direct payments going back to that particular farm, like we have today in Costa Rica. So we're looking forward to exploring those opportunities. We would like to have our community engaged in this and become more interactive, more closer, directly connected to the farmer, to connecting communities and making communities more aware of each other, and becoming more connected with each other. And so, Rocky, what I did also want to just open it up again and ask if there's any questions from our audience, and allow for that if there's any other questions that want to come from an audience. And then I want to ask if Doris and David have any other comments they want to make.
David, ¿tienes algo otros comentarios o algo que quisieras agregar?
Que nosotros cultivamos café, lo hacemos a favor de la naturaleza, tratamos de no erosionar el suelo, de no quemar, de no echar herbicidas o veneno, y reforestamos, hacemos todo porque la tierra es nuestra madre, las que nos dan la comida. Creo que solo eso.
Okay. Beautiful. Muy bonito, David. He said, we cultivate our coffee respecting Mother Nature because Mother Earth is our provider. It feeds us. And therefore we don't use pesticides. We don't use harsh or any chemicals. We don't cut trees. If anything, they plant more. And they don't create, no, erosión, dijiste que no.
Sí.
Okay. They don't create erosion, and that they protect and respect Mother Earth when they're growing their coffee.
Thank you. So Doris and David, what we have up on the screen now, can you give us a little information on what we have, or what we show up here, some of the pictures you've provided?
David, explícanos sobre la foto que nos mandaste de como una caja donde está pintada con una oveja, una taza de café. Si nos puedes explicar un poquito más de esa foto.
Ellas se les llaman abejas menores del género Melípona. Entonces nosotros las tenemos porque su miel es muy medicinal y ellas también pecorean las flores de café para que el fruto sea mejor y de mejor calidad.
Okay. David is saying that he also has bees on the farm that help pollinate the coffee seed. It's a special type of bee. It's called Minora, and it's got medicinal honey it produces, and it's special to their farm, and so he incorporated that also to the coffee paintings.
So what we're seeing here is the boxes. These are actually beehives, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. That's very interesting. So these bees are what pollinate the coffee, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing that. That's great. Rocky, can you flip up to the other pictures? Thank you. So Doris and David, can you kind of explain what we have in these three pictures here?
David, explícanos un poquito más sobre la foto de la piña y dónde está el café regado en el patio de tu casa. Explícanos qué está pasando.
Está bien. Lo de la piña es que nosotros en el cafetal no solo tenemos café, sino que tenemos diversidad de frutas para el sustento de la familia de nosotros. Entonces no es solo café. Y lo del patio es el proceso ya lavado del café, donde se está secando.
So he said that the pineapple is one of the many fruits that also that he also grows on his farm. He says that the fruits are mainly used for consumption of his and his family. And the coffee is the process. It's in the process where it's drying up. This is after it's been washed and before it gets roasted.
Okay. Well, question: where is your coffee? Do you just roast your coffee home-wise, locally, correct?
¿El café lo tuestas en tu casa o lo llevas a algún lado?
No, lo llevamos a venderlo así, lavado nada más.
Okay. He says he sells it washed and dried, but people roast it at their home.
Okay. Okay. And what is the picture on the left, right?
Y la foto se ve como que es una abeja. No sé si puedes ver la página web, no sé cómo escribírtela.
Sí, la abeja que está en la florcita.
Sí, correcto.
Eso es porque también tenemos abejas que son las polinizadoras que ayudan al café. Entonces, y también nos producen miel para vender.
He says this is just a little bee pollinating the little flower. I think it's zoomed in, so it's hard to depict the flower, but
Wow. Okay.
yeah, it's pollinating, and he's saying that the bees are very special to him for the medicinal purposes that we previously shared.
Thank you. That's thank you for sharing that. That's very good, very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Again, I kind of covered everything I think I wanted to cover. Again, I'm excited about this new relationship we have. Hopefully we are going to explore ways to engage our community and hopefully help with your family farm. We're in the very beginning stages of this, and I'm excited to share this with this audience. Do you or David have any closing statements? I think we're gonna at least conclude my questions, and then want to ask for any questions either from anybody on the audience if they have any questions or comments on the El Salvador coffee farm that Doris and David had graciously gave us their time to explain and share with us their farm.
Dice Patrick que está muy agradecido por participar con nosotros, David, que si tienes algo final, algún comentario, algo que quieras decir.
Que muchas gracias por la invitación y disculpas porque no pude estar en el chat, y también que eso es bien poco lo que se puede enseñar, entonces en persona es más diferente, pero porque pueden ver cosas diferentes o explicarlas diferentes, creo. Entonces, gracias y muy agradecido por la participación que nos han dado.
He says he wishes he could have joined us for video, but for internet purposes or internet issues, he couldn't, but that he's very grateful for this opportunity. He's very grateful for the invitation, and he's very happy for this new connection. And I as well want to thank you, Patrick, for inviting us today and for sharing about your nonprofit organization, something that I see has an extremely bright future, and it could create so much change, one farmer at a time. I see it.
Thank you. Yeah. Right. So great. You also got a nice comment from Isaac, basically saying you have an amazing project. Everyone has a lot to learn. We're really excited to share this with you today, and particularly for Earth Day. So thank you for really sharing how you're connected with the earth and the land, and how you are very honorable stewards of your land. And we really appreciate you sharing it with us.
Thank you. And also thank you to Auburn Hip Hop Congress for handling the technology. Everything's been beautiful. Thank you.
Mute. Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate you both and everybody for being here today. Got to learn a lot and hear more about your guys' stories. But like Patrick said, hopefully this is just the beginning, and we can continue to connect our communities and as many people as we can to just, be more aware about how we consume and where things come from, how they're sourced, and the importance of our connection with Mother Earth. So I thank you each, especially today on Earth Day, that we can come together and offer this to our community and everybody tuning in. I still encourage everybody, this will be recorded so you can share it and people can tune in later. And if you have any questions or you'd like to get involved or support, you can reach out to myself and or Patrick or any of us, and we'd be happy to connect you guys and tell you more.
Thank you.
Yeah. Happy Earth Day, everybody.
Happy Earth Day, everyone.
Happy Earth Day.
Bye.